So now there's this guy. His name is Cristoforo Colon. Cristoforo Colon. Cristobal Colon, right? And Cristobal Colon is actually a Genoese sailor, and he sailed with the Portuguese, and he has um, developed an idea that comes from some of the ancient writings that came into the East from this period of time that calculates that if he sails west, he will find um, the Indies somewhere in here. Okay, do you see where I'm looking at right on the map? Okay, now those calculations were wrong, obviously, but and most people in Europe just laughed at him because they knew that first off, that the idea that everybody thought the world was flat is pretty wrong. All right, I mean, some people may have thought the world is flat, like some people today believe the world is flat, right? But but most people who were educated knew that it wasn't flat, and the reason why they knew that was because if you stand at the shore and you watch a ship go out, right, you can see maybe 11 miles, something like that, right? And then after that, you can't see it anymore, so it's gone. Well, where did it go? Did it go over the edge of the earth? No, because it comes back, right? So, so that means then that the very act of observation proves that there's a curve of the earth, and the fact that you can measure that curve means that you can know about how big the world is. Okay, and so the Europeans knew not only that the world was a globe, but they knew about how big it was. All right, and that's why they knew that Columbus was wrong, because they knew that China wasn't going to be here; it was going to be over here somewhere, and they knew that you could never sail from Spain or from Europe all the way to China. You couldn't carry enough food and water to do it. Okay, what they didn't know was that there was the Americas in between. Nobody knew about the Americas. All right, so Columbus, that's what we call Cristobal Colon, is Columbus, what we call him here in America. Cristobal Colon isn't able to convince anybody that's educated that his idea is correct, except that he is able to convince the Queen of Spain, Isabella, who we just talked about a couple minutes ago, uh, and so she actually um, sponsors an expedition with 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, and Columbus then sails off into the west to find um, the Indies, and on October 12th, 1492, he sights land. Okay, and actually nobody really knows um, what land he sighted, but most people think it was probably Hispaniola, which is where Haiti is today. I don't know if I've got a better map here. Yeah, most people think it was here, somewhere in here. Okay, the main thing is that he spotted land, and then he took out his telescope or whatever and looked, and there were a whole bunch of natives on the land, jumping up and down and saying, "Hooray, we've been discovered!" Right? No, that's not what happened. Uh, but it is a discovery that the Europeans discovered that there was something between Europe and Asia, and the Americans discovered that there were people who would eventually be a great threat to them. Columbus finds uh, the Americas, grabs some Indians to take back to show everybody what he found, right? And he believes that he has found the Indies, right? The East Indies. Okay, well, he hasn't found the East Indies. He hasn't found any Indies. He's found Americans, but because he believes it's the Indies. That's why everybody here is called Indians, even though there aren't any Indians here. The Indians are all in India. Okay, you know what I mean. You follow what I'm saying here. All right, and then actually Columbus will make 4 different voyages to America, trying to find the Indians or the Chinese, and never able to find them. And the reason why is because there aren't any Chinese here. Okay, what they eventually realized was that they hadn't found Asia, but instead they had found Novo Mundo. What does that mean?
New world.
A new world, right? So it's kind of like, if you think about it from a European point of view, it's very much like discovering a whole new planet, right? It's far away, and there's this, whole huge territory filled with strange people, right? So it's a whole new world, and the guy who really was able to theorize that, to realize that, his name was Amerigo Vespucci. And so, because he was the one who really remember or discovered that, I guess you could say, we named the whole thing after him. So all of the Americas are named after Amerigo Vespucci. The rest of the story of the conquest you can read about in the